break it down. We're gonna do some anime. Break it down.
We're gonna talk about anime and bananame.
Yo, let's talk about Bananame.
Bananame.
If we took that show about cats and bananas this season, we could literally talk about Bananame.
Yeah, bananame.
But we didn't.
Anime, bananame.
I forget what it's called. Bananya. That's what it's called. It's called the bananas, I think, or bananas.
Anyway, this protagonist seat, me, Alex, that Ian.
Hey.
Talk about 9 shows currently.
Yeah, what's good, dude? All of them.
Big mobile game, Fate Grand Order.
It's super big, but it's also a series, and we're talking about it.
Fate Grand Order, Absolute Demonic Front. So
you guys like servant fights? Watching servants fight is pretty cool, right?
It's not even really servants fights as much as just servants fighting big CG Tiamat.
Yeah.
So in this episode, we get some quiet moments where they're making their plan against Tiamat.
Because we start with the night before the raid.
Yep, and he kind of does his rounds, talking to everybody, and all the quiet scenes make me think, man, this would be a much better show with a better protagonist.
Yeah, it would, with someone with a little more depth.
Yeah, instead of just I'm just a positive kid.
I'm just a guy, and I want to do the right thing.
Yeah, so that holds all of those scenes back, but it's fine.
Other characters tell him that he has regrets, so like that's something.
Yeah.
He is given depth by the supporting cast, which are all great, by the way.
Everyone else is fine.
Watching everyone else give him pep talks is awesome.
And then we finally have the battle where they go to fight Tiamat, and they're going to have Quetzalcoatl be their ace in the hole.
Because they need to take out the mud.
And admittedly, this scene is a lot cooler than it is in the game, since they have them flying in, and there's all the Ushis attacking them.
The Ushis are attacking them while flying on the backs of the Lamu, and freaking everyone's just shooting laser beams, and Benkei.
Benkei shows up, and Benkei's pretty cool.
Benkei's wicked cool. He's like, I gotta kill my former master.
And then Benkei goes to cover Quetzalcoatl, and she's like, you're gonna be caught up in the blast, right?
And he's like, I'm good with that.
And
basically, Quetzalcoatl is a foreign deity from another land. So she's like, fuck you, your defenses don't work on me.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because you're Mesopotamian, so your rules don't apply to me.
My rules are better than your rules. Watch me jump into space and become an asteroid that I'm going to blow up the whole world.
So she's going to drop kick her from space.
And it's awesome.
It is pretty cool.
It's cool as fuck.
And then it doesn't look like it's going to work, though, but he uses a command seal to power her up.
His final command seal.
And then she does, and I think she burns up in it, and it still doesn't look like it works.
Yeah, she burns up everything, and she hits Tiamat, and Tiamat's like, oof! And then she starts to fly.
Yeah,
and everyone's like, fuck.
And it's like, now our plan to drop her into the underworld won't work.
And then they're like, oh my god, we're in the final stages, everything's desperate. And then Gorgon shows up.
Yep. So,
giant snakes come out of the ground, and people are like, Gorgon!
And we're finally nearing the end.
Yeah, this is a long-ass...
This is a long-ass series for something that's not actually that good.
No.
Like, it's okay. It's probably one of the better storylines in the mobile game, but again, it's from the mobile game.
Spending a lot of time on this story that's like, I'd give it a B-.
That's why I'm excited for the Camelot movies more so, because Bedivere feels more like the main character.
Camelot is going to be a cool movie.
It's going to be
really like that.
It's going to be several movies. I think it's going to be like 3.
Shit. Cool.
Yeah.
I guess.
More Betty.
More Betty, the man who fought servants by himself.
He's a cool man.
He's a cool man. Kind of like Iruma. Iruma's a pretty cool man.
He's a cool boy.
He's a boy.
He's a boy.
He's a good boy.
So, yeah, the quiet girl in class is the idol.
Who'd have thunk it,
Yep.
dude?
So that's
Hitting us with the blind sides right off the bat.
Yep, so she realizes that that's her power, is that she's just so cute that everyone's nice to her because of her cuteness.
She has violence diffusing cuteness.
So she decides the best job for that is an idol.
Because for some reason Iruma can't connect Devi idols to like human idols for whatever reason, so he's absolutely lost when she gets brought up.
So they need a really like long explanation of the concept of what an idol is.
And they describe like demons get super stressed out sometimes, so we need to give them their outlets like video games and books.
Yeah, it's a weird way of saying demons need entertainment too.
Yeah, they could have just said that.
Yeah, but anyway, they so Iruma actually gets tickets to her concert because the radio club is like, yeah, here you go.
Broadcasting Club is the true heroes of this show. I don't care what anyone says.
And turns out she kind of has some resentment from Iruma because he keeps getting the front page spot in the school newspaper that she's been trying to get. And she thinks, like, you know, he's basically her rival.
And she's not entirely wrong if you really think about it, I guess. But he's not doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
It's
and
an
so
accident.
Then he ends up winning the contest at the place where he gets to hang out with her in private after, which she's just like, why out of all people did it have to be him?
And I'm sitting on my couch like it's because he's the main character, dude.
And
Iruma has S rank luck. That's just how it works.
And she's wondering how he, like, basically just kind of how he even figures out it's her, because he easily does.
She has fucking markers everywhere. She leaves her glasses on the table.
Yeah, because she ends up inviting him in. She kind of does that whole frantic thing where she tries to like hide her identity and stuff like, let me just put these away. Don't look over here. Blah blah blah. And then after he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna head out. See you at school.
Whoa, how'd you figure it out?
And it's a really weird explanation that her hands.
He starts with like the way she tucks her hands is she tucks it with her thumbs in, and he's like, I thought that was kind of weird and unique. So when I saw you doing that, I kind of figured you were the same person. Oh yeah, and also you like left your glasses out and like you've got ice powers, so it wasn't that hard.
And at first she thinks, like, how does he know all this? Or how does he pay so much attention? Oh, he must be a huge fan. But then he interrupts and he says, yeah, I just want to know how you do it. Like, I always try to not stand out. I want to be just like you. I always stand out too much on accident.
How do you blend into the crowd?
And she loses it when she finds out that he's been overshadowing her this whole time, and he hasn't even been trying to.
By accident. Dude's been being the idol of the school by total complete accident. And she has a nutty.
Yes. She starts freezing everything and then passes out because I guess she's sick.
She probably just overexerts herself. Yep. She literally blows a gasket.
Yep, and she passes out and Aruma's like, oh no. He's like, somebody help.
And that's where we leave off. I did think it was kind of interesting because she mentions that she has presence dampening glasses that dampen her presence so that only 51% of her...
Yeah, because her cuteness is still too much that even that much leaks out.
Yeah. And then it cuts back to this scene where the succubus teacher like looks over everybody and she only has 51%. And I was like, oh, that's a callback. Guys, they were thinking about that.
They were.
That's good, right? Well,
they were.
That's some decent writing right there. Keeping good thoughts in there, dudes.
Darwin zu game.
Let's talk about Wang.
So, of course, we knew that the florist was going to die, so he does right off the bat, but it's pretty cool the way he goes out.
Yeah, he ends up fighting
two of Wang's like highest ranked minions.
He basically, the analyst is like, yo, separate these dudes because it'll be easier to take them out one at a time.
Yeah, he's fighting the pyrotechnics guy, who of course is his natural enemy because fire beats grass types.
Yeah, Pokemon taught us fire types beat grass types.
But as he looks like he's got a plan, telekinetic punch dude just jumps through the window.
Yeah, he fucks him up pretty hard.
Yeah, so he ends up getting mortally wounded, but he's able to use his sigil to essentially keep his heart beating.
Pyrotechnic dude punches his hand through his chest.
Yeah. That's
which
not
is...
His thing is fire, not super punches.
Yeah, I was a little taken aback by that. Because that's insane. But whatever, these are people who can do weird shit, like engulf their body in flames.
So the florist escapes, they chase after him, and they're like, there you are. And he's like, I'm glad you guys came after me, so I can watch your faces turn to despair.
And then the begilding begins to shake.
Yep, so he basically used his plants as his dying move to just topple the building.
That was just a stopgap measure. This is my final attack.
Yep, so he brings the house down.
He brings the house down, dude.
And he dies. We see him have a little flashback of his daughter, and they're talking about plants, because of course.
Because he was an actual florist.
Yep.
Who'da thunk it, dude?
But he's gone now.
Yeah.
An analyst is listening in on some of Wang's guys, and they're talking about how they need to capture someone alive for information.
Because they have also figured out that the coordinates led to that one train station, but they haven't quite figured out what it means yet, because they don't have the diamond code.
And she is about to leave, and then one of the guys just goes, wait a second, my sigil, which gives me the wolf's nose, lets me smell things.
Of course it fucking does.
There's a woman nearby, I can smell it. And then she starts running away, but she gets captured.
Because Wang pops out of nowhere. Because she has that crazy Laplace's demon thing.
But he can teleport, so that kind of...
Yeah, makes that moot.
His sigil lets him teleport and gives him claws. That's kind of a weird one.
His sigil is one I have lovingly titled Nothing Personnel Kid, where he can teleport behind you and slice you in half.
Rules of nature!
That's basically Wang's character in a nutshell.
And he grabs her and orders her to tell him what she knows.
And he fucking breaks her arm.
Yeah, he breaks her arm, and it looks bad for her, but then the gang shows up.
The boys! They come out of nowhere.
And girls.
The boys and girl, and girl who is also shares a personality with a boy. Don't think about that one too hard.
Yeah, so they show up, and then they basically say, hey, how about we just, work together? And Wang's like, no, our group is give and take. Or, no, just take all.
Take.
Yeah, take and take.
And everyone's like, well, that's totally how I expected that to go down.
Yeah, and Ryuji basically says, yeah, there's no arguing with these animals. Let's just go.
Let's just bust caps.
And so they all just start shooting.
Yeah, it's cool. Everyone starts fighting, and it's neat.
I do like when there's that frame where they're running away, and Ryuji's just standing there, and they're just missing. Like, all these guys are shooting at a man standing still and missing.
Yeah, that's because Ryuji is invincible.
And it goes to, first-person mode, and he's just,
just
gunning people down.
We talk about him as PUBG man. It turns into first-person PUBG. He's also wearing... We should mention... Yeah, he is wearing body armor. And he comes around a corner and some dudes freaking cap him. And he's like, that fucking hurts. And then he guns him down because, of course, it doesn't really matter.
And he has a pretty good fight with Wang where he basically realizes the distance of his sigil. He's like, he can only teleport 5 meters. So I just have to stay out of that range.
And Wang's like, fuck, he's figured out that my range is 5 meters. Oh, no.
He's figured out my range is 5 meters.
But, unfortunately, the thing about freaking really big guns is they take a little bit to reload, and eventually he's got to reload, and Wang gets the upper hand.
Yep. And
you never want a Wang on top of you, let me tell you that.
He pulls out his pistol to shoot him, but Wang cuts off his hand.
Yep.
And he's like, I'm going to pickle your fingers.
He does say that, and it's off-putting. It's weird. It's a weird thing that Wang has.
But then main character shows up.
And he's like, hold on.
I have the key to the treasure.
How much you want to bet that's the key to his fucking moped?
Yeah, it's probably just a basic key.
It could be the key to anything.
He's buying time, obviously, for Analyst, who's basically cracking the code.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what happens. Probably no more Wang after this, because I think we're good on Wang.
Yeah, I think Wang's over with.
Yeah.
Um, I look forward to this show. I think it's cool.
I also look forward to Toilet Bound Hanako-kun.
Me too. That's also cool. What do you do? How do you act when you find out your ghost friend killed himself?
Yeah.
You get weird.
Yep, so Hanako notices that Nene is kind of...
She's weird.
Yeah, she's not complaining about cleaning the bathroom or anything.
And he's like, that's no fun. What's up?
I also like how the younger Minamoto brother is now just fully hanging out with them. He's always there now.
He's in the crew. I dig it.
I think his name's Kyo or Ko.
I believe it. I think it's Ko.
Yeah, Ko basically notices that Nene's down, so he's like, hey, can you give me a hand? I'm really bad at cooking, and I was trying to make some donuts.
You want to help me make donuts? And she's like, okay.
Yeah, and so they hang out, get together, and make some donuts, and he kind of tells her, like, hey, you're worried about Hanako. I kind of worried about him, too. Because, you know what? Donuts are his favorite food.
Yeah, how convenient, right?
Yep, and so the older brother shows up, and he's like, what are you guys doing? Oh, she's like, I'm helping him make donuts because he's really bad at cooking. And he's like, what? He's actually, like, the best cook in that. And he gets
donut.
Yeah, he shoves a donut in his mouth.
Bam, you got donutted, son.
Yep, and so he's like, here, just take them and go give them to him. So he gives her the donuts to run off with.
They have their moments where it's like, hey, I got your back, kid.
Yep.
I'm your friend. We're friends here.
Because Ko and her decide that they're going to work to help Hanako.
Yay!
Because he's like, even says to his brother, he's like, listen, I know he's an aberration, but I want to help him still. And I'm going to, if he needs to be exorcised, I'll do it, but...
I don't think all of them do.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, all right, fuck it, why not?
I'll just watch for now.
I'll keep my eye on you crazy kids.
And then she goes to see Hanako. They're about to enjoy their donuts. And then, mwahahaha, his evil twin shows up.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, I have the dark orbs instead of the white orbs because I am evil. And I'll give him this. They did a decent job writing him where he still feels very much like Hanako, but he feels like a shit-eater Hanako.
And then Nene just kind of like dumps her tea on him, and
It's acid tea, holy shit!
Yeah, and then he leaves.
He's like, fuck this.
And it turns out he's working with the radio ghost lady.
This show, Radio Club, not good.
Yep.
Radio Club is not the true heroes of this show.
They are bad.
They are the true bad guys.
And they start a new rumor about a ghost that when you stick your arm into your locker, it approaches you.
And grabs you and is like, hey, do you remember me?
And it's about to happen to Ko, but then he's like, holy shit, I just captured a ghost. And he just grabs it and ties it up and then drags it to the bathroom.
Yeah, that ghost picked the wrong target that day. He's like, hey guys, what do I do with this spooky ghost? I got it.
And then Hanako's just looking at it and he's like, why don't you, it's got lingering regrets. Just kind of fix its regrets.
I don't know, figure out what it regrets. It's fine. And
he's like, all right, I'll do that. And he runs off with it.
And Nene is like, are you sure that was a good idea? And Hanako just kind of shrugs it off, you know.
He's like, I don't know, probably.
I'm sure it'll be fine. Besides, if it isn't, it just means that there's a little more work for me.
And then he basically unties the ghost, and the ghost is like, you were just gonna try to have your way with me, just like in porn.
Yeah.
You know, that's its response for everything. Just like in porn.
Just like in porn.
It's also a dude.
It is a man.
It is a very effeminate-looking dude.
It's a cutesy man. So we'll figure out what happens with the cutesy man next week.
Yeah.
I like Hanako's reaction to evil Hanako showing up. I think they did a very good job writing a character that has very clearly been just faced with trauma right out of nowhere. And I'm very curious to see how that develops as well. I like the show.
One thing that this week I didn't feel hit as hard as previous weeks, Somali.
No.
So in this episode, they part ways with Hattori and Uzoi, and they find out from Hattori about a town where you can essentially research anything.
It has a lot, and it is a town that is a repository of knowledge, and guess who fucking runs it?
Witches.
Witches. It's witch town. We're going to Halloween Town, folks.
Which is like, wait, I thought witches are just like variant humans. Like it's like a human like occupation. So come on, they're basically humans.
Pretty much.
I'm sick of the bullshit.
If they just gave some of that that mime face makeup to Somali, give her a hat,
boom, she's a witch.
She's a witch now.
But yeah, so they go to the library to find out about things, and he's like, I'm looking for books on humans. And so they bring the head librarian there.
I'm looking for books on humans. Fuck it, you want to go to the library, dude?
So she brings her to the special warehouse in the library where the book was moved to, and there you meet the librarian's sister, and
there's only one of these books.
Yep, there's only one, and then they find it, and Somali pulls it off the shelf, and boom, giant fish things start attacking that apparently eat books.
Book-eating piranhas come out of nowhere.
Yeah, and then the witches fight the books.
With penguins and roses.
Yeah, and then the goop turns into a big piranha.
And then it goes after the special book because I guess it just fucking likes that special book for whatever reason.
Even though there's books everywhere.
Because plot reasons, why not?
Yep, and so Somali drops the book and it eats it, but it's gonna go try to eat her. But Golem Daddy jumps in the way, but it shatters kind of all the plating on his arm.
Yeah, and then he goes super self-defense Grim Reaper mode.
And destroys it.
He sprouts fucking like plate wings out of his back and stabs him into the fish.
And they're like, fuck, golems are something else.
Yeah, everyone's like, that shit was metal. And the golem's like, problem solved.
But the book is ruined.
Yep.
But they do have another option. If they could go ask someone who read the book. So they check their records, and the last time it was checked out was like 307 years ago.
By the head librarian.
Yep, so they can go ask her.
Because as everyone knows, librarians never die.
They never die.
They never die.
That's why they haunt the libraries. Libraries are haunted places. They're full of librarian ghosts.
That'd be nice.
You heard it here first.
That'd be nice. They could help me find whatever book I needed.
Check the Dewey Decimal System.
That's why you're here, ghost. I saw an ad for the English dub of this, and it made me realize something very important about the VA for the golem.
Daisuke Ono?
Yeah. He has a warm tone. He can be very monotone, but his voice has a very warm quality to it, which is why I think...
How'd the dub make you realize this?
The dude in the fucking dub sounds like a cold, unfeeling robot. And it's like, I know they had a good idea of where they wanted to go, but they just didn't do it. And also the woman who voices Somali just sounds like a woman. Like, I feel like the two main VAs for this show in Japanese are doing a very good job.
Iori Minase, I believe her name is. She was, she voiced, Waver's sister.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And she, you know what? She does a good job voicing a kid.
Yeah.
Because until I listened to the English VA, I never realized that until this point, I had never given it thought that technically this character that is a child is voiced by a grown woman.
Yeah. Well, she's pretty young. I
Yeah.
think she's only like 19.
But still, she sounds like she's an actual.
And Daisuke Ono is just great.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's Caligo Sensei. Jotaro Kujo.
He was an amazing pick. He's got that nice warm tone that he injects into the role, which humanizes the golem in a way that the English VA I felt didn't.
The power of performance.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Pick the right people, folks.
Show by Rock. So now that they've formed their band, which last week we forgot to mention, that's the subtitle of the show.
Mashu Myresh.
Mashu Myresh, that's their band name.
It's not just a gibberish word.
Yeah.
It's a gibberish word that's also their band name.
And they call it Mashu Mashu for short. So
because everyone always has to fucking abbreviate their band name because they make it too long.
Yeah. Why not just make it Mashu Mashu?
Yeah, just do that.
But, yeah, so this episode really isn't focused on them, though. It's on the boys.
They do some soul-searching off in Hawaii.
Yeah.
and do training camp where they discuss their style they want to go in,
Basically,
but that's not important.
the boys got tickets to essentially Hawaii.
And then those tickets got mixed up.
Yep, so they instead got sent to the Arctic.
They were, I forget what it's called. It's like Arctalaska or something like that.
And they're like freezing because they're all there in like Hawaiian shirts.
Well, everyone except the golden boy.
Yeah, the dude who's always prepared.
The trickster. He immediately went and bought stuff at the gift shop.
And then they find out, well, we need money to actually get to the Hawaii area. Well, what do? And then they see a sign for a curling competition. And it gives them like enough money to get what they need. And it's like, all right, we just have to go and win the competition. Easy.
A band is going to win a curling competition.
I love how when they go into and it's like, hey, wait, we should all put on glares. That'll give us an advantage in the first round.
We need to psych out our opponents. Open doors. Who is standing there?
Another band of eccentrics that perfectly match them.
Literally perfectly.
Just another boy band, and they all start singing immediately.
It's amazing.
And their band consists of a spiky dude.
I think he's a hedgehog.
Yeah, he's
a porcupine.
Yeah,
I think.
To basically counter their bumblebee boy.
They've got
They got one dude who's a lion whose whole thing is just like, my darkness. I'm a dark god and can't control my darkness.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna hold my hand in front of my face and pose.
Which he does in almost literally every scene. I think there's one shot in this whole episode where his hand is not in front of his face.
Yeah.
It's very good.
And they all show up and it's just like, why is there no one else here? And they're like, oh, apparently there's a figure skating competition next door and literally everybody else is there. Even some of the other contestants went.
So it's just gonna be you guys and us.
And they're all sitting there both discussing their strategies. And they're like, do we know how to play curling? No. But as long as they don't know how to play curling, that works for us. And no one knows how to play.
No one knows how to play. There's one woman who shows up at one point to judge something, and I'm assuming she flees for her life at some point.
Because it just ends up super destructive. None of them know how to play, and they're all just... it's a mess.
At first... the Trixie boy tries to win actual curling with tricks. They do actually do curling for a little bit.
Yeah, and then they just stop.
And then they just fucking throw them at each other.
They cut to the girls while they're discussing their plans for the band, and then they're holding a tablet, and they're like, oh, look, the international curling competition. They're like, what the heck? And they like, I don't get it. And they just see their whole place is destroyed. They're using the curling sticks as like bats to like swing and like hit the curling pucks at each other.
It's very good. The boys will always be the funniest storylines.
Yeah, and at the end, it gets so serious. Like, they're just fighting at this point. And they're like, listen, we have a way to beat them. One of the guys on the other side gets down on the... Like, he holds himself up on, like, the little handles on the curling thing. He's like, everyone get on top of me. We'll form a super attack.
We need to do our combo attack.
And, of course, they all get on top of him, and it hurts them because, for some reason, most of them are wearing, like, stiletto-heeled boots.
Yeah. Of course.
And then the rest of them, it's like, well, we gotta match them. Come on.
So they do it, but not as good.
Yep, and then they lose.
They lose. I don't know how that metric is judged. I really don't.
To be fair, no one won curling. I think they lost the fight, but somehow they also lost the curling competition, even though I don't think anyone scored points.
Curling was technically a draw at 0 points for everybody, but the battle was won.
Apologies to Canada this episode for not representing your sport properly.
Yeah, sorry, buds.
Yeah, sorry. Hey, maybe we'll do better next time, fellas.
I'll get you some Tim Hortons. Maple syrup, Ontario.
Speaking of maple syrup, we'll get to that. We're not there yet.
Yeah, we got to do Centon Academy next.
Yeah, Centon Academy, join the pack. So in this episode, Yenna wants to be more like a female, so she picks the most feminine person at the school.
The human female.
Yep, the human
name
female.
I still, for the fucking life of me, can't remember.
That's fine. Jin is paired with Renka.
Yeah. And a honey badger shows up and starts
She really wants to join Renka's sister's pack.
And I love how her sister will always just like sit off in the woods and watch her super obviously because she's gigantic.
And she ends up, realizing, oh, I can join your pack if I beat your sister? Okay, and she runs off.
And literally everyone is like, no, don't do that. Stop that.
Yep, so Yenna, the whole episode, is just trying to learn. She's like, I'm super girly, just watch. And she sits down to eat her food, just like
she
the
basically
human girl.
Mimics the human girl the whole time. But
except she's munching on bones really loud. And she's like, that's good.
And she's got this spooky, scary teeth. It's not good.
And Jin even says to her, he says, I really just don't think you should even bother. You shouldn't even try. You can't even come close to that.
And he's right. He's super right. But Koala Girl comes up with the ultimate solution. Why don't we just make Human Girl dress like...
try to make her like her. And they do, and instead it's like, just act like Yenna. Okay, you want to fight, punk?
And
she just looks too sexy while doing it, where all of them are just staring at her. And Yenna's like, do I look like that? And he's like, no, you should just give up right now.
Not even remotely close. Not even in the same sport.
Everyone gets a nosebleed, too. Like, even the girls.
I did. I was on the couch, and I was like, what the fuck?
And it was just everywhere. And it's like, oh my god, Ian, he's lost a quart of blood.
It was too much. You guys, you did it too much. You did it too good.
And so Yenna actually really tries, though, and she spends all this time with her, and she actually, by the end, completely seems like female.
She does it. Holy shit.
She's, like, soft-spoken, just mild.
Just one little hitch, though. Just one little hitch. Turns out hyenas can't digest everything they eat. So they just spit it back out.
And they all stop after, and she's like, I can't help it, it's biological.
I can't do it. And you know what? They say, why don't you just be you? Just be a tomboy.
Yep, and then they notice that the honey badger is getting picked on by all of the lions, and they're like, hey, we're gonna beat up this little honey badger. And Jin's like, okay. And then they all start wailing on her, and they're like, no, they're gonna kill her. And Jin's like, well, she's actually fine.
Yeah.
Because it's revealed that honey badgers have an insanely thick coat.
Because honey badger don't give no fucks.
Yeah, honey badger don't give no fucks.
Honey badgers can't die.
So this is killing bites. And so they end up, Yenna gets mad and steps in and then beats the crap out of them and just decides, I am a male.
And then, honey badger girl, still intent on fighting Ronka. What is it, Yan? Who's hyena girl? What's her name?
Yenna.
Yennefer has a Witcher reference.
Yeah, so she ends up after trying to fight Ronka, and then Ronka's sister comes, and she's like, what's going on? Were you gonna harm my sister?
Because it turns out honey badgers have another thing where they spray...
like skunk fart out of their ass.
Yeah, and she gets Ronka and Jin with it.
Yeah, but then she finds out, like, Ronka's like, wait, you're letting another species join your pack, sis? That's really cool. And then as soon as she hears this, she's like, yeah, actually, this is our new pack member. See, she's really great.
Isn't she wonderful?
So yeah, now she joins the pack.
Yes. Seton Academy.
Join the pack. And then Yenna comes back she goes home to tell her dad and brother. She's like, yep, I'm a guy now, so going back to school. See ya.
See ya.
And they're like, well, we got all these fancy dresses, so I guess we'll just hang on to these for now.
Yeah, we'll keep those for later. Never know when those will come in handy.
Yep. So she ends up going back to school, and now she is a male. She's basically hitting on the human girl.
She's figured out her gender identity, guys. We did it. We solved the crisis.
Yep, and so Jin is mad at this, but it's unfortunately, Jin, you're stuck with the wolf.
Yeah,
everyone's going interspecies. The hyena gets the human girl, you get the wolf.
Even though her dick is fake.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Inspector. This show's pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of talking this episode, as every episode, but this episode,
it's especially focused on it.
Yep. Everyone's freaking out over the death of police officer Judo Man.
I felt bad. I kind of like that guy, and I was kind of sad when he got his face bashed in after he tried to judo punch a ghost.
So we see that Kotoko has been doing all this research on her own, and she's been basically putting together all these scenarios. We see her lounging around in her hotel with her leg off and her eye out, and they really don't accurately represent what not having your eye in looks like.
No.
Because they basically just shade it out like it's not there, but she can still open her, close her eye. I'm pretty sure if you don't have an eye in, it's just like your eyelid just hangs down like a flap.
Yeah.
Like sinks in.
It's not good, but I'm glad they did it this way because it's not nearly as horrifying as the real thing.
Yeah. Also, would it be comfortable to just like not have your eye in?
I don't know, to be totally honest, because technically...
Listen, if you don't have an eye, let us know what it's like having a glass eye. Like, is it more comfortable to have it in or out? This is a serious question, and I actually want to comment for this.
I, as well, am genuinely curious about this. Because, like, a fake eye... Because, like, it fills a space of something that should be there, but it's still a foreign object that you're putting into a space in your head.
Yeah, but I feel like having your eyelid droop into your skull isn't that comfortable.
Exactly. So, like, I don't know. Guys, gouge out your eyes. Get fake eyes.
Just one of them. We
Just
can't
one.
We can't be held liable for two.
We don't want to go overboard here. Don't actually do that.
You know what? I'll do it.
You're the body horror guy.
Yeah, I already got one eye that isn't very good anyway.
Take one for the team.
I'll take one for the team. I'll let you know next week with the results.
We'll have the results.
Yep, but Koro and Saki show up and they basically go over their plan that they need to take out Steel Lady Nanase tonight because now that she's killed someone and that her power is spread because the rumor has gotten stronger.
Shit's gonna go down.
Yeah, so more people are gonna die if they don't do something.
Luckily, they have a man who can choose a better future, but even still, now that it's gotten so much more fucked, that's a little more difficult.
And Kotoko comes up with 4 solutions that they can use.
Because Kuro comes up with a good solution. Well, I say he comes up with a good solution. He comes up with a good idea. Basically, split the load. Have have as many little separate steps as you need. We'll pick a future that's optimal for that step, and then we'll move on to the next one.
And
Kotoko, rinse, repeat.
Kotoko basically says to Koro that that the person who's likely responsible for this is Rika, his cousin. And we hear a little bit about her from Saki, that Rika is actually the person that is Koro's type. She is his cousin who is like 3 years older than him.
And we get a shot of Rika, and she looks startlingly like Saki.
Yeah.
Or I guess Saki looks startlingly like her.
Yeah, because she also, being Koro's cousin, probably has undergone the Kudon meat experiments.
Yes. And you already know the answer to this, but she's probably got the same powers and is just doing bad things with it.
So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
I hate getting hurt, so I put all my skill points into defense.
Shield Girl.
Yeah. The Rising of the Shield Girl.
Rising of the Shield Girl and her maple tree and her maple syrup.
So, Klein, that's not his name, but he looks like Klein from Sword Art Online, so he does his own thing this episode.
Yeah, we get to see him actually do stuff, which is kind of nice.
He gets new gear, so, hey, good for you, not just sitting in the background this whole time.
Yeah. Basically, everyone's off doing their own thing, and Maple's like, well, first she takes the Hammer Sisters.
Yeah, to basically run a dungeon over and over again to, like, speed level them.
SGDQ, NW Online Dungeons.
And apparently they get a skill where they're already strong, but now they can, essentially Titan's Grip, they can dual-wield two-handed weapons.
Because they ran this freaking dungeon so many times so quickly.
So now they're busted.
Yeah, now they're straight up ass busted.
And
also, the craft woman gives them hammers that increase their strength. So they're even more busted.
Yeah, we see everyone essentially get stronger this episode. Like the girl with the Rubik's Cube can now store spells.
I was gonna say the actual name of what it's called, but I can't remember.
I think they call it like the Akashic Records or something.
Yeah, the Akashic Records. Yeah, she begins to store spells in a safe.
And then Maple goes and does a side quest.
Yeah,
which is
a very long side quest.
I did like the side quest. I thought this was the highlight of the episode, where the first part's an escort, but of course she can fly.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so she flies with it, but the NPC still gives the dialogue like she walked there, and she's like, "Oh, thank you so much. I thought those monsters were gonna kill me.
I almost died there."
And Maple was thinking, yeah, I guess she looks down at all the monsters on the ground. She's like, yeah, I guess this was supposed to be a lot harder of a quest.
I have a plot hole issue with this. Granted, I shouldn't expect too much from this show, but she gave syrup to Shield Bro.
They were doing this at different times, I think. Yeah.
Probably.
But yeah, so she ends up bringing her back, and then after the next quest is like, hey, there's a ring to heal my daughter, so you need to go find this ring.
Oh,
and
this one?
I did like this one in the sense of, I think everyone's played like either an MMO or a game where you already did the objective, so you just immediately turn in the quest where it's like, oh, I already did that. And it's like, you have the ring.
How wonderful of you.
That must have been so hard.
And then the next one is, hey, go to this spooky place, and oh no, the daughter gets up and sprints out of the house.
Yeah, and she's like, she keeps this quest chain is so long, she has to go, and then the daughter's at the Temple of Evil or something.
And there's ghosts.
But the ghosts disappear because the healing potion finally works, and the ghosts leave her body.
Oh yeah, I guess if I hadn't been able to get that healing water in the first mission, then this probably would have been a lot harder.
And then the last one is that this angel thing kind of appears above her, and she gets a power where she can now turn into an angel.
Yep, it's basically, hey, I have a field that gives all of my allies in the radius my defense. Which is fucking busted.
Now, imagine if you do that quest, but you're not a, great shield class. It's like, I give you all my defense. I am a wizard. I have no defense.
I am the swashbuckler. My defense is my evasion. So, not gonna use that anytime soon.
Yeah.
It does cost her health. But
her health is so astronomically high anyway.
It never matters.
Yeah. But their guild is now super strong.
Yeah, we've got Busted Bros.
And we got a guild event coming soon, and we can see the blonde King Arthur dude in his guild prepping everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Guild Wars.
I like watching Shield Bro fight, just because he's a little different. Because he likes to actually whack things with his shield.
Yeah. Instead of just, it touches my shield and it dies, or I send giant hydras out.
Yeah, he actually fights things, which makes it a little more fun to watch.
Yeah.
But that was this week in Bananime.
Yeah, this was the week of Bananime.
Bananime.
We would appreciate it if you like to hear about Bananime if you continue to follow us.
Yes, either on YouTube at the Protagonist Seat channel,
or on things like Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, Deezer, iHeartRadio,
and our Libsyn podcast page.
Yep, and we are also on social media if you want to follow us on Facebook or Twitter at Protagonist Seat respectively.
We post updates and things there. Also, we post whenever our videos go live.
Yeah, we post all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Every time, guys. Every time.
Every time.
I'm not the bad time. That was not particularly relevant to anything, but whatever. Fuck it. We're in the cooldown stages. Anything goes.
Yeah, anything goes.
We could have freaking Mitty sign off for us.
Yeah, Mitty's gonna sign off. Ready? That was him signing off.
He's asleep.
All right. See you later.
Bye-bye.